everyone, it's election day, and this episode of DeWired is going to be a bit different than usual. So, we're covering the elections here in Bulgaria, but today we're going to talk about how the spark that ignited so many people, more specifically, the proactive role of Gen Z in shaping our politics. We have two guests here today with us, two AUBG students, and they're not just posting, but actually making change. So I would like to present to you, first off, Cass Nikolova, an active force in the NGO sector, focusing more specifically on youth engagement and civic education. And our second guest, which is Hristo Karamanoliv. He was one of the core participants in organizing the protests here in Blagoevgrad last year. So welcome, Kaz and Hristo. Do you plan on voting today?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And how about your friends or people around you? Are they gonna vote?
Yes, like I'm telling everybody, all my friends and family. I'm not asking for who to vote. Like I'm not telling them vote for this party or this party. I'm just telling them you should go because your vote matters. And if you don't, like the corruption is going to choose. So this is the worst case scenario.
Absolutely.
It's the same for me. I encourage everyone around me who is Bulgarian to actually go and vote because I believe that it is finally time for change. Your voice matters, and people believe that it doesn't because it's not gonna change anything. Well, we saw people gathering on the square of Sofia, on the square in Blago, everywhere in Bulgaria. They want things to change, so the vote matters.
Absolutely. That's great. And the protests that you organized here in Blagoevgrad, they were something different. Well, what did you think about the atmosphere? Like, was it different from Sofia's protest?
To be honest, I'm not sure if it was different because like I cannot attend to Sofia's protest. But the idea came from me and two other of my friends. Like to be honest, mostly from them, because we cannot go to Sofia that day. We were like busy, had other work to do and all that stuff. But we wanted to make any change, and we saw that nobody organized protests here in Bulgaria, and we thought that a lot of people from AUBG, from Eurozone, and like from Blago, would want to be part of it, but like maybe they don't have car, they cannot give all of their time to go to Sofia and all that stuff. So that's why we wanted to.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you probably think that more young people would vote this time.
Yes,
with the elections
for sure.
coming up and the protests beforehand, that this all escalated to this point of everyone voting today.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to you, Cass, actually. You've seen how youth engagement works from the inside. You participated in many different NGOs. Which were some of them, actually?
I was a volunteer. In some of them, I was an active participant in a lot of their academies. Some of them were National Youth Forum. I don't know what's the English name for the other one, but
Okay. In Bulgarian?
Mesemerebe, which is peace for Balkan countries.
Okay.
Kind of like that. I don't know. That's like, yeah. Also, I have been an active participant in the youth center in Dupnica, which is where I learned how to work with young people and what it takes to actually talk to them, to actually engage them in everything that happens around.
So what was your role? How did you engage them?
So I was a youth leader. I still think I am, most probably. But yeah, I was the first youth leader of the youth center. And engaging young people is basically you need to learn your audience. So in Dupnica, most of them are not engaged. Most of them are not proactive. So for you to actually get them to attend certain events and get them to actually think for themselves, you have to kind of use other methods, which are talk their language. You should start speaking their language. So if you have to dumb down something, just do it. And that's
Mm.
okay because you're talking to young people. Just make something funny. Do it in a non-professional way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like to engage them on the same level.
Yeah, informal way actually. That's what's
Hmm.
called the informal education,
Yeah.
where you learn through experiences
Mhm.
than through just sitting on a table and listening.
Okay. How about the recent elections that were going on in Hungary? You're following them for sure. So there was a major turnout that created significant political pivot. And what lessons do you think could Bulgarian youth movements learn from this example?
So, what I think we could learn is that sometimes choosing something that's not really common, that's not really familiar,
Mm-hmm.
is better because the other candidate that was supposed to be chosen but didn't get chosen, he was familiar to the people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's our problem here in Bulgaria as well. You don't have time to research. You don't want to research because you believe that politics is something bad. So essentially, what you do is go and vote for something familiar. And for us to actually end corruption and to actually have what we need to have, like in Hungary, what's going to happen right now, we need to familiarize ourselves with the new movements and actually have the new movements as well. If we don't have them, we can just start them.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Krishna?
Yeah, like almost the same.
Yeah.
I like the idea that when you don't see something like in front of your eyes, because like people, most of the people are close-minded and cannot like understand that they could create something new and they could create something great. And they only want to go to places that somebody already created or someone told them come here and they're going to come like a sheep. I'm sorry to say that, but almost like that. So that's why I think that everybody should understand, especially young people, they should understand that they could create something great and something new, and they at least need to try. If it doesn't work, doesn't work. Like life begins. But
So you think young people are more open-minded to
yeah, I think people
change?
should be a lot more open-minded for the change and should want the change because everybody, to be honest, everybody is talking like when we're at table at cafes and all that stuff like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, I want to change, I want somebody to make something. But why don't you make something? Like why somebody else should make something?
Also, quick add to that. So young people now have the resources and the people who are creating those resources, so they know how to make that change. The people before us, they didn't have that, so their only coping mechanism was to sit down at the table and, as he said, talk about it. Now you have academies, you have the National Youth Forum's event that's about, like, I think it's called Active Youth Academy or something like that.
Yeah.
Youth Academy for Active Young People. I don't know. I have to remember the name. But the thing is, like, you have people who are taught how to make political parties. What does it take to be a political party? What's actual politics? And now we even have this in science. Like, we learn this in university. What's political science, right? So now you have all the resources, you can take them, you can learn and see what's supposed to happen. Because for you to make change, you should know that. And as we have those resources, we should have the right to actually form and change something ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And you both are good examples of this, even as Gen Z representatives. We are all Gen Z actually. But a generation that political parties don't really understand us. How do you think about this? I mean, they don't really get us, right?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Okay. What do you think about political parties in Bulgaria? Like, do they understand Gen Z? Like our interests, our motivation?
In recent years, like especially now, I've seen many more parties interested in getting Gen Z in their party, maybe because they want to go with the trend, go with the flow, kind of. I think, or maybe they want to change, the old politicians that they are 50, 60, 70 years old, and they have the old mind, they know how to do things, but like things 50 years ago. I think parties need like people like Gen Z, because we know how to create things now, how to go with the trend and how to go with the flow these years, not like how was it supposed to be like 50 years ago.
I believe that political parties do need Gen Z, but I believe that they do not understand Gen Z. Because from their point of view, we are a generation that is non-proactive. We're a generation that only stays on TikTok and Instagram, and we don't do anything. And I believe that that's not true. Because in every single city of Bulgaria, you have young people. In every single, not every single, but in a lot of cities now, you have youth centers that actually have engaged youth people, like young people. So I believe that they don't understand how we function. I believe that, yes, we know how to have fun. We know how to not exert ourselves to the max, so we don't burn out, or we know how to deal with that. They didn't have that before. Now we do take breaks. We do watch TikTok. We cannot deny that. But we do our work as well. And I don't think they focus enough on that. And I believe that if they see us as actual adults, even though we're young till 29 years old in Bulgaria. So even though we're young, we still do our work. We are still adults that can take decisions and that can handle matters in our own hands. So they should look at us as such. And he's correct. Some of them are pretty old, so they can hand the parties down to young people. But do they want that? And that's the major question that we're gonna see after the elections.
Yeah, of course. Well, how about if we imagine that you two are members of parliament? And what is the one specific policy currently missing from every major party program that you would like to introduce?
A policy in the
in the party's program, like what would be a goal or something you would change so it's more suitable for Gen Z, like for our needs. I could rephrase it like that.
The thing is, a lot of the policies sound good on paper, and a lot of them, if they get achieved, they're gonna help not only Gen Z, they're gonna help everyone. But sounding good on paper and actually knowing how to achieve them are two different things. And I believe that the policy is there. We just need the right people to actually know how to implement it and how to actually monitor that it is implemented right and that it gives results. So actual policy in a party, I don't know. Yeah.
Like, I think of completely the same. There are a lot of rules, policies, and all kinds of stuff in our parliament, as we know and could see, but how many of them are like ruled and they go through them and know how to do it. Like, I think even if we have the opportunity to put a new policy, new rule, and whatever it is called, like, we could do it, and it's going to be helpful for some people, but I don't think somebody is going to care from the old politicians, to be honest.
About what we want.
About what we want, yeah.
Yeah, because like for instance, we've been asking for a law that protects the volunteers for like over 5 to 10 years, and we still have no law that protects the volunteers. And then elections come, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, whatever. You have a conversation with the politician, they're like, yeah, sure, we're working on that. You've been working on that for years, and we still need those laws.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's switch to another like not a different topic, but something different aside from policies. What about inflation hitting young people? Because it's really something I see from your expressions that you have an opinion on that. It's hitting hard.
Mhm.
And do you think that with the Eurozone and us joining it really made the difference, or was just a distraction from the main problem?
For sure, it makes a difference. Like I had a really interesting conversation with a friend of my friend here from MFG, and he thought that there is no not no inflation, but like 5% inflation, like really normal and kind of stuff, because he's seen that BNR and all kinds of banks make like charts. They're visible to everybody. Everybody could check them in Google. And he said like it is 5%. Like I believe them, but and they asked him, okay, do you see the price in the store? Do you remember the price of bread, milk, eggs, the price of gas, petrol, everything? Like, don't you remember? You cannot make the change or what? And he was like, no, like I believe them. It is if they say it's 5%, it is like calculated. They're one of the most smartest mathematicians in the country and all that stuff. If they say so, they say so. And that is perfect example of closed mind and a person who cannot like make the difference even for himself. I'm not telling even to tell anybody else, to tell his family or to make some difference. I'm telling for him, just for him to know the difference. And that's why I told him, like, don't you think that these charts, papers, and everything cannot be corrupted? Like, if somebody say it's 5%, it's 5%. Like, make it 3, make it 4. Everybody could do whatever they want. They're closed institutions, and you cannot check their work and how they do it. You could check only with your memory and what you know. That's the only way I think you should calculate inflation.
Not only that, like this, I agree totally. The thing is, like, for you to actually be a proactive citizen, everybody should be a proactive citizen. So for you to be a proactive citizen, you should question everything. Not because you don't believe in your country, but because you should do your research on your own, because you're your own person first. So these 5%, no. You can do the calculations by yourself. If you're an economics major, you can probably do that, and you will see that this is not the case. And people have shown it like multiple times, not only in social media, like people have done the research, but also for the euro. I would say since we adopted the euro, some of the stores, I won't name names, but like some of the stores actually kept their prices, and actually the prices are achievable. They are great. It's like you're back to like 2015 where prices were actually good. But then other stores don't do that. They raise their prices, and now here you see that the problem is not in the euro itself. The problem is in the companies. The problem is capitalism. So for you to actually live a normal life, you should probably boycott some of the companies that do that, so they stop. Because they're doing it on purpose. They're raising their prices on purpose. You cannot tell me that if I go to one store and buy this product, in the other store is going to be higher. It's the same exact product.
Yeah, that's not fair.
This is not fair. Yeah. And some of the stores actually have like they advertise themselves as stores that do not change the price.
Yeah.
So let's hope it stays that way.
What do you think young people can do to bring awareness to this issue? Like, as we said, with the prices.
I believe that the boycott we were doing every single Thursday were working. And since people stopped, they were like, oh, let's do it the first time and not do it any other time. I believe if you don't go shopping on Thursday, it's not gonna be a big deal. Like, either try and grow your own stuff, or try and find a grandma who is growing her stuff and just sells it, or actually don't shop on Thursday.
You know, a month ago, like me and my family got really angry because in my town we wanted to exactly boycott the biggest store because they like the price are 2 times higher, and it was on news and everything, like not only in my hometown but like almost everywhere in Bulgaria. I'm sure you know about this. and we see even there were even more people than before than other days, and the interviewers go and ask them like, what are you doing? Like we said, don't go that day, and you're still going. And like the grandpas and grandmas, we're doing it for them. Like, to be honest, like for me, they're really important, and they cannot work anymore. They need to live from pension, and that's what I care. And they're asking them, and he was like, "Oh, come on, I'm not going to make a change for one bread, for one eggs, for one milk. Come on, go to another store. Like there are tens of thousands of stores. We said you don't go only to this store." And everybody went there. I cannot understand. Like that's why we became pissed, and like we don't care anymore.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, from what he said, we can see that Gen Z actually cares about other people as well, not only about themselves. Like, this is how Gen Z is portrayed, about caring, like not caring about anyone. The thing is, he's absolutely right. Like, elderly people, they should have like the means to live normally, because they cannot right now. And I can probably get a job from another country and just use my money here, and I'm gonna be fine, but they're not gonna be fine. So this problem should be addressed. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your answers. And with that, we would like to wrap up this talk session. To everyone behind the screens, the future isn't happening to us, but we're contributing to it and making it for us. So make sure to vote today and follow us on Instagram at DeWired AOPG and our YouTube channel for more content, details, and updates regarding the elections. Stay tuned.